All right, so let me ask you this: as far as what you saw from Jalen Hurts in them 4 games,
Hmm.
would you think the Eagles are safe with Jalen Hurts at this point, or do you think they need to go out and draft another quarterback, or possibly adding a quarterback in free agency?
Um, if I were the Eagles, I would, and I anticipate they will bring in a veteran in the offseason at the very least, so Jalen Hurts doesn't feel entitled to the starting quarterback position. So they're gonna bring in someone who's not really competition, but just someone that's a respectable name that'll make him at the bare minimum give him someone to beat out for that starting quarterback job. I would say. Um,
Mhm.
Now is Jalen Hurts the answer? I mean, in my opinion, Jalen Hurts resembles to me. He resembles Russell Wilson that can't throw very well.
Mm.
That's what he kind of reminds me of. A
Right.
Russell Wilson that can't throw as well. Now, look, everywhere he goes, he wins. Like everywhere he goes, people love him. And this is kind of, one of those things where we don't know what these, these guys' personalities like inside that building. A lot of these guys, you may have a conversation with them, you may have, certain interactions with them, and you'd be like, thinking to yourself, I don't know if he's a guy. And I think to a certain extent, there was just some sort of sentiment within the Philadelphia that Carson just ain't the guy. Carson just ain't the guy, man. He's talented, but he just ain't the guy. Hey,
Before we move on though, I did want to bring up their top 3 leading receivers in 2020.
mm-hmm.
Greg Ward, 53 catches, 419 yards, 6 touchdowns. Travis Fulgham, 38 catches, 539, 4 touchdowns. And Dallas Goedert, 46 catches, 524 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
So,
if you want Carson Wentz to look bad, hire those guys as your wife as your top receivers.
yeah, so I think there's a lot more to this than just Doug Peterson. Obviously, they had a lot of injuries on the offensive line. I believe it said he got sacked over 50 times. That's
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Tannehill, Miami Dolphins numbers. We're all
Mm.
too familiar with that. But
I mean, I think it just goes to show, kind of the point you're talking about, and I think just in general, it's very difficult to fairly evaluate quarterbacks with below average receivers.
yes,
Like it's very difficult to evaluate them. And if you look at Carson Wentz numbers, if a guy can give you more touchdowns and interceptions with, let's just say, let's just call his receivers this year some dudes, right? Like these are just
some
these are
dude.
these
Dallas
are
Goddard, he ain't just some dude.
Dallas
This is
Goedert is a tight end.
this is a snub.
Dallas Goedert is a solid tight end. Like those Greg Ward, those are some dudes. Like I would love to see the separation statistics of the Philadelphia Eagle wide receivers. I'm sure it's trash. So so they kept Nelson Aguilar around all of them years. He was dropping balls left and right every time I saw him.
Right.
So hey man, it very well could have been the fix was in to a certain extent. But
Right.
also, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles and you have an eye towards rebuilding, there's no better way to drive out an expensive quarterback than to give him no one to throw to.
Nah, for the bay. Nah, for the bay. We don't care what you said. Nah, for the bay. Nah, for the bay. Nah, for the bay. We ain't hearing what you said. Nah, for the bay. Fire!